Public prosecutor says a lot of awareness has to be created regarding domestic violence. Minister of Tayat says she is grateful for having been raised in a culture that appreciates just how much tourism has given us. And President of Y2 says there are a lot of key issues that have to be dealt with. Those are the headlines for Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2020. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, representatives of the various unions representing civil servants, namely the WICSU PSU, the ABVO St. Martin, the NAPB, and the Y2, held a press conference Tuesday morning. During the jointly convened press briefing, the unions expressed annoyance about a letter sent to several government employees who are on sick leave. In the letter sent by the Personnel Department, civil servants on sick leave or long-term sickness are informed that they will have to be re-examined. Those controls will be carried out by a new entity, and according to the unions, they were not informed of the move prior. According to the unions, through the letter, employees on sick leave are requested to give consent to SZV for their medical file to be transferred to the new entity. Civil servants were given a deadline of Friday, October the 30th, to sign the letter. However, the unions disagreed with that request as they are of the opinion that this is in violation of the rights of their members and in particular both civil servants and teachers. Against this backdrop, the unions made it clear that they are not going to tolerate this form of intimidation of their members. The unions WICSU PSU, ABVO St. Martin, NAPB, and Y2 have sent a letter to the Minister of General Affairs expressing their discontent with that issue and as a result are requesting that a meeting be held to discuss the matter. In this edition of SXM Daily News, you are first going to hear from the president of the Windward Islands Teachers Union, Y2, Mrs. Claire Elshot.
There was a letter circulated to our members without the knowledge of the unions, without consultations on re-examining of persons that are on a long-term sickness. Now, for us as unions, we find that there are a number of very key and important issues that has to be dealt with based on the level to be able to enhance our members, to be able to get the productivity and also to have a more efficient corps of civil servants and workers that are satisfied with everything. We have on numerous occasions indicated these shortcomings. There are a number of issues. And then to take right now, to target vulnerable persons that are on a long sickness leave, that is for us really troublesome, worrisome, because at a given moment we do have a sick leave policy. The sick leave policy is also sustained by control of the sick leave against abuse, control to the control doctors. There is a legal entity here that has been established for the control of sick leave. And the essence in this is that a new entity is going to be, number one, imported to do this control, a new entity, which I don't believe that they're going to come here and do it for nothing. So our government don't have money to fix the legal positions of the teachers and the civil servants, but you're going to put another entity to be able to control long-term sickness. And then, in addition to that, this is the insult on injury, because we know that according to the law, everybody that has a medical issue, it is a relationship, you and your doctor, and an issue of privacy. for you now to put in a letter to these persons that they have to sign this letter, with the deadline being last week Friday, sign the letter to give consent so that their file can be transferred from SZV to this entity.
Meanwhile, the interim president of the WICSU PSU, Deborah Rumbley, says that to date, none of the cases brought to the attention of the unions indicate that the procedures has been followed. Furthermore, she says that at no time can the articles in the LMA supersede the Constitution of the country.
In this letter, members were informed by government that they are to sign documents giving government permission to gain access to their medical files, and if they do not comply, their salary will be withheld. This being done by referring to the LMA. However, the same LMA gives directive as to the procedures that must be followed in cases such as these. To date, none of the cases brought to the attention of the union indicate that this procedure has been followed. Furthermore, at no time can the articles in the LMA supersede the Constitution of the country. In the Constitution, AB 2010, GT number 2, gives the privacy law. Not even ministers are above the Constitution of the country. The privacy law forbids third parties from requesting one's personal data, among others. Specified is that of medical. Do not get me wrong, I am not encouraging nor condoning wrongdoing. I refer to only the LMA, but also the Ordinance of Sickness, where in the Ordinance, Article 3.5 stipulates how sick leave is to be executed and who has the mandate to execute such on behalf of the worker, where it pertains to sickness leave for the government workers. It tells you how the personnel department should handle personnel on sick leave and how to document such. The SZV also has their duties outlined in the sickness ordinance. So there are ways to have personnel be re-examined. There's also a committee that can be implemented to get the reason why someone is out sick for a long term. The personnel department should have been diligent in performing their tasks when it pertains to sick leave of the members. The members have committed no crime to cause government to threaten them with withholding their salaries. Persons who are out, sick, and have already returned to work have also received those letters. Our government should not use care tactics towards their workers. They should call them in and follow the proper procedures. They should try and assist the member in returning to the workforce. Maybe one has an injury on or off the job and needs a certain chair, for example, a sitting position in the department. Has this been done? This is the opinion of the union, should be the first step. If government can intimidate workers in that manner, what example is being set for the private sector? I am sure that somewhere along the government also had family members that were sick for a long period of time before they got back on their feet. So what we are would like the minister to do is to do the right procedure. We have no problem re-examining the workers that are out on sick leave, but there are procedures. You should not threaten people. If you don't sign, give me your documents. I don't know who these people is. No one knows who these people are.
And SXM Daily News will bring you more of the press conference with the other presidents of the various unions in tomorrow's broadcast. And in other news at this time, members of Parliament of the United St. Martin Party, USP, Akeem Arundel and Claudius Toncha-Bonkamper have expressed words of congratulations to MP Christophe Emmanuel on his victorious outcome of his recent case, in which the prosecutor's request to the Joint Court of Justice to prosecute him was denied. The USP MPs feel that justice has prevailed in this particular case. but wondered how MP Emmanuel will restore his good name in the community after having it tarnished due to the alleged wrongdoings labeled on him by the prosecutor's office. In 2019, MP Emmanuel was unable to successfully pass the screening to become a minister due to his pending case. This is the second time in the 7 years between 2012 and 2019 that the prosecutor's office attempted to prosecute a sitting or former minister. The release continues that while there is faith in the justice system, there is much uneasiness in the execution of the process to bring one suspected of wrongdoings to court. While the laws are on the books, they need to be revisited and reviewed. A society should not have to live in fear of the actions of those who are supposed to guarantee justice for all. The system is intended to bring security to its people, not fear. The USP MPs wish MP Emmanuel much success with his future endeavors, as he is now free to carry on living as an ordinary citizen should. The release reads in part. And still to come, Director of the Tourist Office says the challenges of the pandemic has not stopped us from moving forward. I'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie Van Putten. As we continue now in other news, the month of November is Caribbean Tourism Month, and under the theme One Sea, One Voice, One Caribbean, Director of the Tourist Office, Mei Ling Chun, in her message for the Caribbean Tourism Day says the challenges that this pandemic has forced us to make hard decisions for our businesses, our families, and ourselves. But, she says, it has not stopped us from moving forward.
Good day. Today, Tuesday, November 3rd, we celebrate Caribbean Tourism Day. The whole month of November, we will be celebrating our rich heritage, people, and culture. The Caribbean region, the most beautiful region in the world where tourism is our main source of income. Where Saint Martin is the most unique place in the world, a dual nation that is multicultural, representing over 130 nationalities, celebrates Caribbean tourism every day. The pandemic has caused global and some very hard times, and here on our friendly island, it's no different. It has forced us to change our daily lives, rethink our business models, and forced to make hard decisions for our businesses, our families, and ourselves. But it has not stopped us from moving forward. Together with our stakeholders, our partners, and our St. Martin people, we are continuing to rebuild and restore our tourism product. I am pleased that virtual reality has given us the chance to showcase our beautiful island to the world. Show what our tourism is all about. I encourage each and every one of you to make use of social media and share and showcase your experiences and show the world what the Caribbean has to offer. We are, after all, the Caribbean, one voice, one sea, one Caribbean. To our community, you are a vital part of our tourism industry. You are our ambassadors. I encourage you to share and showcase why you are called the Friendly Island. Whether it's a hello or a welcome to our visitors, or you invite them to your homes for a culinary experience, or you sell products and services, do it at the best of your ability. Also build relationships, make new friends. That is what our visitors seek to experience from the St. Martin people. To our stakeholders and partners, join us in celebrating the Caribbean tourism. You have built a product or service that has contributed to our tourism product. To our visitors, you have chosen the Caribbean and in particular St. Martin as your next vacation. You will not regret it. We have a lot to offer, from our beaches to our culinary, from our eco experiences to our adventures. We are ready to welcome you.
Meanwhile, Minister of TEAT, the Honorable Ludmila de Weaver, in observation of Caribbean Tourism Month, says that she was delighted to be able to commemorate Caribbean Tourism Day today, as it is not just as a Minister of Tourism, but as a fellow St. Martiner, and she is grateful for having been raised in a culture that appreciates just how much tourism has given us.
Ladies and gentlemen, residents and visitors, I am delighted that you can join us to commemorate Caribbean Tourism Day. It is my pleasure to speak to you, not just as the Minister of Tourism, but as a fellow St. Martiner, raised in a culture that appreciates just how much the tourism industry has given us. Tourism helped to open St. Martin to the world and transform it into one of the region's most dynamic and vibrant places. As a job creator and engine of opportunity, tourism plays an important role worldwide by enabling countries to showcase their natural beauty, their talented people, and their cultural heritage. Tourism has been good to St. Martin. Over the decades, it helped lift our island from a place of obscurity and turned it into a billion-dollar economy where many have prospered and where many were able to afford a better life for their children. I applaud the St. Martin Tourist Bureau for their tremendous job over the years, vigorously promoting and continuously improving our tourism product. Tourism affects every St. Martiner, from small businesses like our local vendors, taxi drivers, and restaurants, to large employers such as hotels. We should all offer the very best of St. Martin to our visitors. By doing so, we reap much in return because it allows us to grow our economy and helps our government invest in and pay for the things that make a difference in people's lives, such as better infrastructure, good education, and the health and social needs of our nation. So without a doubt, tourism is vital for a small island such as ours. The current reality has only made this fact even more clear in our minds. There has not been a single country in the world that has not been impacted by the pandemic and the associated travel restrictions that have come with it. Now more than ever, we must encourage and foster knowledge about tourism and its positive impact. We must strive to protect, sustain, continue to grow our tourism industry, and we must do so safely and responsibly. We also need to be innovative, and as an island, we must remain acquainted with new trends and ideas. Tourism is our business and will remain so. The world will continue to enjoy our beautiful island, and by doing that, we can provide jobs and opportunities for our people while investing in our nation's future.
And as we continue now in this COVID-related item, as of November the 2nd, there were 13 persons who tested positive for COVID-19. However, there was a recovery rate of 7 persons, increasing the total active cases to 62. The total number of confirmed cases is now 844. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 55 people in home isolation. 6 patients are hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center, and 1 patient is isolated and being monitored. The total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 22. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin has increased to 760. 169 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS of persons who may have been in contact with any of the active cases. CPS has tested 1,222 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport and 5,647 people throughout the community. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, CPS will continue to actively execute its contact tracing measures. In limiting further spread of the virus, Minister Panaflag urges all to protect yourself and your loved ones by maintaining the social distancing rule of 2 meters, practice good hand hygiene, and wear your mask in public. Now, turning to our weather forecast for November the 3rd, 2020, the Atlantic high pressure system will continue to dominate the weather pattern across the region. Therefore, gentle to moderate winds will persist along with a relatively stable atmosphere during this forecast period. Additionally, Saharan dust at varying concentrations will continue to affect the region. Persons with respiratory illnesses and/or allergies should take the necessary precautions. Sea conditions will remain moderate through the next few days. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue exercising caution. So the outlook through Thursday midday, partly cloudy, breezy, and hazy with isolated showers possible. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Minister of Justice, in observation of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, says one of her concerns is teenagers in abusive relationships. And we'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast. Fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And as we continue now in our continuing series about domestic violence awareness this month, Minister of Justice addressed the issue of domestic violence and going into the schools. The Justice Minister, when asked about taking the subject into the schools, says that one of her concerns is that we also have teens that are in abusive relationships.
Subject about going into the schools and speaking to the kids, I'm also interested in us recognizing that we also have teens that are in abusive relationships, and they need to be able to recognize that. So definitely, I want to be able to see campaigns within the schools in terms of, yes, if you are in the household where you are witnessing abuse taking place, but also if you are in, as a teen, an abusive relationship. And one of the things that we're working towards as well in this month is we want to feature a couple of persons. We have one lady that is ready to tell her story. And I am calling out to any males that has been in an abusive relationship, or if we have any teens, we are going to conceal your identity as well as alter your voice. The objective here is to be able to get you to tell your story so that it can resonate with someone who might be going through the same situation and don't know what to do. But you yourself might be in a situation and now your story is heard. The relative authorities can now know how to guide you, So we want to be able to develop platforms where people feel comfortable to be able to express themselves, but recognizing all the efforts of the prosecutor's office, CAPSM, and the specialists in this area, as well as the ministry, we want to be able to put a level of onus on what we are responsible in doing and making sure that our community feels safe. And by doing so, we have to create platforms and opportunities that there is a consequence for an action that breaks the law.
And from the Public Prosecutor's Office's perspective, we asked the Public Prosecutor, what is the plan and how do we get some policies in place to move forward in getting something accomplished? Public Prosecutor Sandra Whitfield spoke to our news department.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us and having me today here, because I think this this television program also creates a lot of awareness on the topic, and that's very important, because domestic violence, well, it's in the name itself, it's mostly in homes where it happens, and there has to be awareness all around the island what people can do, or what that they can call the police or alert other people that something is happening, and that is a really great serious issue on this island, and it's an important topic also for the Public Prosecutor's Office to do something about it. So I'm here for a year now. So and last year we had a conference that was hosted by the Prosecutor's Office about domestic violence, and several stakeholders were in the conference, and we talked about domestic violence. We talked about we had a psychologist, we had Cassandra present, we talked about cases and what can we do and how can we act on domestic violence issues. And that really started up also for the Prosecutor's Office to do more on that topic. So we intensified the collaboration with our stakeholders. First of all, me and the legal assistants of the Prosecutor's Office went to different stakeholders like Safe Haven, like Women's Desk, like probation office, like police, and also to the hospital, because they were working on a meld code for domestic violence, to see what everybody was doing and who can we contact when we want to talk about a case or want to make a policy on domestic violence. So that's the first thing we've done. Then we are creating awareness in the Prosecutor's Office also, and together with KPSM we are working on a presentation for the whole KPSM. So we work together. So what does the police have to do, and what does the public prosecutor do, and what does the public prosecutor need to build a case in court, because that's very important. So we want to educate the KPSM police. So what do we need in a file? What's enough proof for domestic violence case to make it to court and get a sentence? So that's what we're doing right now. We have a presentation in the coming weeks with the KPSM.
And in tomorrow's edition of SXM Daily News, we will be featuring the coordinator of domestic violence issues at KPSM, which is Corps Police St. Martin, Miss Patricia Richardson. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, this item from the Associated Press regarding the American presidential election 2020.
This is AP News Minute. Nearly 100 million Americans have already voted ahead of Election Day. The coronavirus drove many voters to early voting and mail-in ballots, even as President Trump claimed without evidence that mailed ballots are ripe for fraud. President Trump finished the lead-up to the election with an after-midnight rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Democrat Joe Biden spent the day campaigning in Pennsylvania and Ohio. A federal court in Texas rejected a last-ditch Republican effort to throw out nearly 127,000 Houston area votes. Conservative activists filed the suit to invalidate ballots from drive-through voting centers that were established during the pandemic.
And with that, viewers, it brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for tuning in this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.